Oh no, 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 what did I just do? Of all people. Why him? Why my boss? Just one glass, Toloni. And then what? You climbed your boss? Her breath hitched. I need to get out of here, she whispered to herself, already grabbing her shoes with trembling hands.
My boss.
Tola never imagined one night of celebration could scatter her whole life. After years of struggling in Seoul, she finally paid off her last debt. The relief made her feel light for the first time in a long while. Her friend, Nina, refused to let the moment pass quietly. Tola, today you must enjoy, Nina shouted as she pulled her into a private lounge room. Tola wanted something simple, but Nina had already ordered drinks and called in dancers as a joke. Tola laughed helplessly. She didn't drink often, but tonight felt like a small victory. After a few glasses, her head began to float. You know me well, Nina, Tola said, slurring a little. When Tola stood up to find the restroom, she moved in the wrong direction. Her balance was weak, and her vision doubled. She pushed open a door, thinking it led to the hallway. Instead, she walked into a quiet room. A man in a black suit sat on the edge of a bed, loosening his cuffs. He looked exhausted, like someone who had escaped a long day of meetings. Ah, you're following me? Tola mumbled. She thought he was one of the dancers Nina hired. At least you're fine, boy. Come here. The man lifted his head. His eyes were sharp and steady. Get out, he said calmly, almost warning her. Tola laughed at the seriousness. Playing hard to get? I like it. She walked closer, swaying. My bestie paid money. I can't waste her effort. The man frowned, confused. Stop, he muttered in Korean, but Tola didn't understand anything. She leaned in and kissed him before he could react. He froze. Welcome to Moonlit Stories, where moonlight meets myth. Love timeless tales? Then grab a glass of wine, sit back, and let's give you some juicy gist. Don't forget to leave a comment, hit like, subscribe, and join the circle, because here every story begins with you. Tola kept talking nonsense, touching his face and pushing him back onto the bed. Her drunken courage had removed every boundary she usually respected. Everything after that turned into a haze, uncontrolled, blurred, and silent. When morning came, Tola woke up with a pounding headache. She tried to sit up and paused. A man lay beside her, shirt half open, sleeping quietly. She blinked. Looked again. Then panic exploded through her chest. Oh no. Oh no no no, she whispered. She scanned the room. The suit. The watch. The shoes. This wasn't a dancer. This wasn't even a regular man. She recognized that face. Kang Min-seok. Her CEO. The cold boss everyone feared. Tola covered her mouth. Jesus, I'm finished. Minsuk shifted slightly, still asleep. Tola scrambled out of the bed, grabbing her bag, shoes, and anything that belonged to her. She avoided looking at his face again because she knew she might faint. If this man finds out I touched him, I'm dead, she whispered. She didn't waste another second. She slipped out of the room, closed the door gently, then ran down the hallway like someone escaping danger. Inside, Minsuk slowly opened his eyes. He looked around the empty room, confused, and touched his forehead as a faint memory flickered. He remembered almost nothing. Except the woman wore a jade pendant. Tola didn't stop running until she reached the main road outside the lounge. She bent forward, hands on her knees, breathing hard. Her heart refused to calm down. Every time she blinked, she saw Kang Min-seok's face again, the man she feared more than any supervisor in her life. God, why me? She whispered. She called Nina, who finally came outside, confused and laughing until she saw Tola's expression. What happened? Did you fight somebody? Tola shook her head fast. Nina, I think I slept with my boss. Nina's eyes widened. Which boss? The one that owns Hawkins Group. The devil in human form. Tola nodded slowly. Nina gasped and grabbed her head. Tola, how did you enter his room? I don't know. Tola cried. I was drunk. I thought he was one of your dancers. Nina covered her mouth. You kissed Kang Min-seok. Kissed? Tola stared at her. I think I climbed him. Nina let out a small scream. Tola held her head. Nina, he must never know. If he finds out, I am finished. You better pray he doesn't recognize you, Nina said weakly. The next morning at work, Tola dressed in the plainest outfit she owned. Long skirt, oversized sweater, hair tied in a low bun. She looked like someone who didn't want attention from a mosquito, talk less of a CEO. She touched her jade pendant out of habit, then froze. The pendant was gone. Oh no, she whispered. Where is it? Memories flashed, blurred hands, Minsuk's chest, her fingers touching his shirt. She had left it in his room. Her legs almost gave out. If Minsuk found that pendant, he would look for the owner. And Tola was the only Nigerian woman in the company wearing one. It was her mother's last gift. Everyone knew she never removed it. Tola, her supervisor called. CEO Kong came in early today. He's asking for all department reports. Tola swallowed hard. Is he angry? He looks serious. More than usual. That didn't help her situation. She carried her files, steadied her breathing, and headed to the executive floor. Every step felt like she was walking toward her own funeral. When she reached the top, the doors opened. Kang Min-seok was walking out. He stopped when he saw her. Tola looked down fast. Minsuk's eyes scanned her briefly. He didn't say anything. He simply walked past her, focused on something else. Tola almost fell from relief. He didn't recognize me, she whispered. But her relief didn't last long. Inside his office, Minsuk was gripping something in his hand. A jade pendant. He stared at it, his face unreadable. The memory of the woman from last night flashed in pieces. Her warm voice, her clumsy kiss, her laughter, her scent. He remembered her necklace more than her face. He pressed the pendant into his palm. Find her, he said quietly to his assistant. The woman from last night. Outside, Tola sneezed and looked around nervously. Something felt wrong. Something was coming. And she could already sense that running away wouldn't save her for long. Tola spent the whole day jumping at every sound. If someone coughed, she flinched. If someone mentioned CEO, her soul tried to leave her body. She kept her head down and worked quietly, hoping Minsuk's search would never reach her corner of the office. But fate did not like her. By noon, an announcement came through the company speaker. Department heads, report to the executive floor. Assistants, follow with documents. Tola almost cried. She hugged her files like they were her children. Nina texted her immediately. Nina, if he calls you inside, pretend you are sick. Tola, I'm already sick. Sick of my life. She reached the top floor again, praying for a miracle. The hallway was silent except for clicking shoes. When she entered the meeting room, she saw Kang Min-seok sitting at the head of the table, calm and intimidating. He didn't look up at her. Not yet. Tola, her supervisor whispered. Sit beside me. Don't faint. Minsuk began the meeting in his usual cold tone. We have a major project starting next week. Delays will not be tolerated. His voice made Tola's stomach twist. Every time he spoke, she remembered her own foolish voice asking him to come here. She kept her head low, afraid her face might trigger a sudden memory for him. Whenever he shifted in his seat, she held her breath. During a report, her supervisor nudged her. Tola, give your update. Tola stood, her hands shaking slightly. Yes, sir. All the documents for the new construction project are ready. I reviewed the cost estimates and sorted the contractor files. Minsuk finally looked up. His eyes locked on hers. Tola's heart stopped. For a second, He stared like he was trying to place her face somewhere. She forced a small smile, hoping she didn't look like the woman who kissed him senseless the night before. Then he turned away. Good. Submit the files to my office. Tola sat down, releasing a breath she didn't know she was holding. After the meeting, she carried the documents to his office. She placed them gently on the table, hoping to escape before he turned around. Tola, he said. Her hand froze. Yes, sir. He studied her quietly. You were absent yesterday evening. Why? Her heart jumped. Sir, I had a small personal matter. Nothing serious. A personal matter, he repeated slowly. She nodded again, praying he would stop asking. He didn't. You look familiar today, he said. Tola nearly fainted. Her voice came out thin. Familiar, sir? No, sir. I always look the same. He tilted his head as if searching through his mind. Have we met outside work? Tola shook her head too quickly. No, sir. Never, sir. I don't go anywhere, sir. He looked at her pendantless neck and frowned slightly, but he didn't comment. You may go, he finally said. Tola almost ran out. Back in her department, Nina grabbed her arm. What did he say? He asked if we met outside work. Tola whispered loudly. Nina, this man's memory is trying to wake up. Nina gasped. Tola, that's how Korean dramas start. I don't want drama. Tola cried. I want safety. But while she panicked, Minsuk sat alone in his office, holding the jade pendant again. Something about Tola bothered him. Something he couldn't explain. And he was not the type to ignore a mystery. Kang Min-seok turned the jade pendant over in his hand for the 10th time. The small green stone felt oddly warm, like it carried a story he should recognize. His memory of the previous night was still foggy, but he remembered soft laughter, clumsy hands, and this necklace brushing against his chest. And now, the woman who kept flashing in his mind looked strangely like Tola. He tried to shake the thought away. No, he muttered to himself. She wouldn't be that type. But the feeling stayed. Downstairs, Tola refused to relax. She sat at her desk pretending to work, but she was watching the elevator like someone expecting soldiers to storm in. Every time the doors opened, her heart jumped into her throat. Nina leaned close. Tola, breathe. You've been staring at that elevator like your village people are inside. My village people are inside, Tola whispered. Their leader is Kang Min-seok. Nina covered her mouth to stop herself from laughing. Just then, the head of HR walked into their section. Tola, she called politely. Tola stood up slowly, already sweating. Yes, ma. The CEO wants your personnel file. Tola almost screamed. Why? Did you do something wrong? The HR lady asked. Tola shook her head. No. I like my job. I want to stay in this company. I'm innocent. Even if I'm guilty, I'm innocent. The HR head blinked, confused. Okay. I'll just send the file. When she left, Tola grabbed Nina's arm in panic. He wants to fire me. He knows everything. He remembers me. I'm finished. Nina shook her head. Tola, if he remembered you, would you still be breathing? Relax. Meanwhile, on the executive floor, Minsuk sat with Tola's file open. He scanned through her background, work history, and emergency contact. Nothing told him who she really was outside the office. Nothing linked her directly to the pendant. No photo of her wearing it. No mention of anything related. But his instincts refused to be quiet. He called his assistant, Dae-hoon. Check something for me. That necklace. See if any staff member has been seen wearing it before. Look through event photos, interviews, anything. Dae-hoon nodded. Yes, sir. Minsuk leaned back. And bring me security footage from the lounge last night. Dae-hoon froze. Sir, The entire footage? Yes. Immediately. As soon as the assistant left, Minsuk looked at the pendant again. Who are you? He murmured. Downstairs, trouble was brewing of another kind. Tola's stepsister Vera walked confidently into the building. She worked in a sister company but came often to boast or cause trouble. Today she had one mission: attention. Tola, Vera said loudly, approaching her desk. Why are you looking stressed? Did someone break your heart again? Nina hissed under her breath. Tola forced a smile. What do you want, Vera? Vera smirked and lifted her neckline proudly. She was wearing Tola's jade pendant. Tola froze. Where did you get that? I found it, Vera lied smoothly. It suits me better. Tola's body went cold. If Minsuk saw Vera wearing it, he would think she was the woman from that night. Oh no, Tola whispered to herself. This can't be happening. But before she could grab it back, she heard footsteps behind her. Kang Min-seok. And he was walking straight toward them. Tola's breath caught in her throat as Kang Min-seok walked toward them. She stood frozen, eyes fixed on the jade pendant hanging proudly on Vera's neck. The exact pendant Minsuk had been searching for. The exact pendant Tola foolishly left behind. Minsuk's eyes moved from Tola to Vera, then to the pendant. He stopped. His gaze sharpened. That necklace, he said quietly. Vera smiled sweetly and lifted it between her fingers. Oh, this. It's mine. Tola almost shouted liar, but fear held her tongue. Minsuk looked at Vera for a long moment, then asked, Where did you get it? Vera placed a hand on her chest dramatically. From someone special. Tola's heart dropped. Don't say it. Don't say anything stupid. Someone special. Minsuk repeated. Vera nodded, lowering her voice like she was sharing a secret. Yes. Someone I was with last night. Tola's knees buckled. Nina gasped and whispered, This girl wants to die. Minsuk's face didn't show emotion, but his eyes sharpened. Last night. Yes, Vera said confidently. I was with an important man. We spent time together. She flicked her hair. He gave me this as a sign of affection. Tola felt her spirit leaving her body. Nina whispered, Tola, your sister has confessed to a crime she didn't commit. Should we clap? Minsuk looked at Vera with calm suspicion. Describe him. Vera swallowed, but kept her smile. Tall, handsome, strong shoulders, clean haircut. She was clearly guessing, adding random details. And he has a deep voice, she finished. Tola covered her face. Every man fits that description. Minsuk said nothing, but his silence was heavy. He stepped closer to Vera, his eyes fixed on the pendant. Why did he give you that necklace? Vera blinked. Because he likes me. Likes you. Minsuk repeated. Yes. She straightened. In fact, he told me he intends to marry me. Tola choked on her own saliva. Nina whisper screamed. Engagement coup? Is she mad? Minsuk stared at Vera like she was speaking a language that didn't exist. Then he said, What is his name? Vera froze for half a second, then smiled proudly. Kang Min-seok. Tola's mouth dropped open. The entire room went silent. Even the air seemed surprised. Minsuk blinked once. Slowly. I see. Tola grabbed Nina's hand. Nina, carry me. I'm about to faint. Vera continued confidently. Yes. I didn't want to say it publicly, but since you ask, the CEO of this company and I spent last night together. He said he wants to marry me. Minsuk raised a brow. I said that. You did, Vera insisted. You even. He cut her off with a single calm question. What is the color of my bedroom? Vera froze. Her smile cracked. Her eyes darted left and right. It's white. It's gray. Minsuk said flatly. I think we're done here. Vera's face drained of color. Tola quietly whispered, God has embarrassed her nicely. But Minsuk wasn't finished. He stepped closer to Vera and said calmly, return the necklace. It does not belong to you. Vera hesitated, but his look forced her hand. She removed it slowly. Minsuk took the pendant, walked past both sisters, and said only 3 words. I'll find her. Tola's entire body trembled. Because she knew. He already had. Tola was still shaken long after Minsuk walked away with her pendant. She sat at her desk, numb, while Nina fanned her face like someone treating a patient. Tola, breathe, Nina whispered. Breathe before you go to heaven by mistake. I'm dead already, Tola murmured. He took the pendant. He knows everything. He knows nothing, Nina insisted. If he knew, you'd be in HR drinking coke and signing dismissal papers. Tola buried her face in her hands. Vera has finished me. As if summoned by the insult, Vera stormed back into the room, angry and embarrassed. This is your fault, she hissed at Tola. You set me up. How? Tola asked weakly. You stole my moment with the CEO. Now he thinks I'm lying. You are lying, Nina replied. Vera pointed at Tola. Just watch. I'm not done. She walked away in heels that sounded like violence. Later that afternoon, a message popped up on the department group chat. CEO Kang requires Tola to attend the business dinner tonight. Mandatory. Tola dropped her phone. Why me? Nina gasped. He wants to question you in public. I can't go, Tola said. I will disappear. I will relocate to Busan. Tola, if you run, they will fire you for real. Tola groaned. Nina, pray for me. The dinner was at a high-end restaurant booked entirely for the company's foreign partners. Tola arrived in her simplest black dress, trying to blend into the walls. She stood far from Minsuk, hoping he wouldn't notice her. But he did. From the moment she entered, his eyes followed her quietly. Not harsh, not angry, just focused. Tola pretended she didn't see it. She greeted other staff, carried documents, and tried not to draw attention. But fate had other plans. Halfway through the evening, Vera walked in wearing a sparkly red dress, loud enough to blind someone, and headed straight to Minsuk's table. Tola gasped. What is she doing here? She doesn't even work in this department. Nina whispered. She's chasing husband by force. Vera approached Minsuk with a bright smile. Minsuk, I came to apologize about earlier. He cut her off. Why are you here? Dinner, of course, Vera replied. I thought we could sit together. You were not invited, he said plainly. Vera's smile twitched. Well, I'm here now. Minsuk looked past her and signaled to the event organizer. Please escort her out. Tola's eyes widened. Oh my God. The organizer approached politely. Ma'am, this dinner is for confirmed guests only. Vera's face burned with embarrassment. She glanced around quickly, searching for someone to blame. Her eyes landed on Tola. You, she shouted. You told him to send me away. Tola raised her hands. I didn't say anything. Vera marched toward her. You think you're better than me? You think you deserve him? Tola blinked. Deserve who? I don't want anybody. The argument drew attention. Investors watched in confusion. Then, something unexpected happened. Kang Min-seok stood. He walked toward them, calm and unreadable. He stopped beside Tola, looked directly at Vera, and said, She deserves respect. You will not raise your voice at her again. The room fell silent. Tola's lips parted in shock. Vera froze, humiliated. Minsuk turned to Tola. His voice lowered. Follow me. Nina whispered, Tola, your life is turning to Kdrama. Tola swallowed nervously and stepped forward, completely unaware that this dinner was about to change everything. Tola followed Kang Min-seok out of the main dinner hall with stiff steps, looking like someone being escorted to court. He didn't touch her or rush her, but the simple act of walking beside him made her entire body tense. When the door closed behind them, silence filled the small private waiting room. Tola clutched her hands together, unsure what to do with her eyes, her breathing, or her life. Minsuk stood a few steps away, facing her. Calm. Steady. But his eyes held something new. Something searching. Sit, he said gently. Tola sat immediately, even though her legs were already weak. He remained standing. He watched her. And the longer he watched, the more uncomfortable she became. Did I do something wrong? Tola finally asked, her voice low. Minsuk didn't answer right away. He walked closer, slowly, like he was trying to read her thoughts. Tola, he said, have we met before? Her heart almost jumped out of her chest. No, sir. He tilted his head slightly, studying her face as if comparing it to a memory. You're sure? Yes, sir. Very sure. Extremely sure. 100% sure. She was lying through her full chest. Minsuk looked unconvinced. You remind me of someone. Tola swallowed. People say I have a common face. He gave her a small, doubtful stare. Your face is not common. Her pulse sped up. He sat down across from her. You didn't react when your sister lied earlier. Why? Tola looked down at her hands. Because she always lies, sir. If I react every time, I won't have energy to live. Minsuk's lips pressed together, almost amused. She claimed I proposed to her. Yes, sir, Tola said quietly. She's bold. And you didn't correct her. I didn't want drama, sir. He nodded slowly. But you looked very shaken. Tola stiffened. Shaken. You couldn't look at the necklace, he said. Why? Her mouth dried instantly. He was getting close. Too close. She forced a smile. It's sentimental to me. She stole it from me. That's why. Minsuk's eyes narrowed. That necklace belongs to you? Tola froze. Her breath hitched. She realized her mistake too late. She nodded weakly. Yes, sir. Minsuk leaned forward, elbows on his knees. For the first time that night, the full weight of his focus settled directly on her. Tola, tell me honestly, were you at the lounge last night? Her throat tightened. Sir, Did I see you there? Tola panic blinked. Sir, your memory is strong. Maybe you saw someone that looks like me. I am always at home. I don't go anywhere. I don't even like nightlife. Tola. One word. Calm but firm. She shut up immediately. He watched her quietly. The silence grew heavier. His eyes softened, not with anger, but with confusion. His voice lowered a bit. I remember someone, he said. A woman who... He stopped, searching for the right words. Who felt familiar. Tola clenched her fingers. Sir, it wasn't me. He studied her again. Longer. Deeper. Then he leaned back and exhaled slowly, like a man fighting with his own thoughts. You may go, he finally said. Tola stood so fast she almost tripped. Thank you, sir. She practically ran out of the room. The moment the door closed, Minsuk rubbed his forehead with frustration. He didn't have proof. He didn't have clear memory. But the more he tried to deny it, the more he felt certain the woman with the jade pendant was Tola. And that confusion was beginning to bother him more than he expected. Tola didn't stop walking until she reached the street outside the restaurant. She pressed her palm to her chest, trying to calm her heartbeat. Everything she told Minsuk in that private room felt like a ticking bomb. She knew he was getting closer to the truth. Too close. Nina called immediately. Tola. Where did he take you? Did he shout? Did he sack you? Tola leaned against a wall. Nina. I think he suspects me. Of being the mystery woman? Nina gasped. Ah. This is how Nollywood and Kdrama collide. I'm scared, Tola whispered. Come home. I made noodles. You need comfort food. Tola agreed. She booked a ride and sat in the back seat, hugging her bag like it could protect her from life itself. But halfway through the journey, the traffic light turned red. The driver slowed, tapping his fingers on the wheel. Tola looked out the window, replaying every second with Minsuk in her mind. His eyes when he said she felt familiar. The way he leaned forward like he wanted the truth. The way she almost confessed. Her thoughts were interrupted by sudden screeching. The driver shouted, "Hold on." A black car sped toward them from the side. Tola's breath caught. The impact hit before she could blink. The car spun. Her head hit the seat. The world blurred. Pain shot through her shoulder as she was thrown sideways. The smell of smoke filled the air. People screamed outside. The vehicle jerked to a stop. Everything went quiet. Tola tried to move her fingers. They shook violently. Her vision dimmed. She heard the driver calling for help, but his voice sounded far away. Then everything went dark. Back at the dinner, Minsuk stared at his untouched drink. He couldn't get Tola's nervous face out of his mind. He didn't usually get distracted during business gatherings, but tonight was different. Something felt wrong. His phone vibrated. He glanced at the screen. Unknown call. Repeated attempts. He rejected it twice, thinking it was a mistake. The third time, he answered. Is this Kang Min-seok? A trembling voice asked. Yes. I'm Tola's driver. Sir, we were in an accident. Minsuk shot to his feet. Where is she? She's unconscious. People are calling an ambulance. Please, she mentioned she works under you. I didn't know who else to call. Minsuk didn't wait for more details. He grabbed his coat and rushed out. His assistant tried to follow, asking what happened, but he didn't answer. He moved with a speed none of the staff had ever seen. He reached the crash site before the ambulance. The crowd parted when they recognized him. Tola was on the ground, head resting against a folded jacket, hair messy, blood on her arm. Her eyes were barely open. Minsuk dropped to his knees beside her. Tola, he called softly. Her gaze fluttered, confused. Sir. I'm here, he said, his voice low and steady. Stay awake. She tried to smile weakly. You again. I'm not running this time. His jaw tightened, not in anger, but in something deeper. Tola, don't talk. The ambulance arrived and lifted her onto a stretcher. Minsuk climbed into the vehicle without asking permission. The paramedic protested. Sir. She's my staff, Minsuk said firmly. I'm not leaving her. As the doors closed, he held onto the rail beside her, eyes fixed on her pale face. For the first time since he became CEO, he felt fear. The ambulance lights faded behind them as Tola was rushed into the emergency room. Minsuk paced outside like someone who had lost control of the world. He kept replaying the accident in his mind, the smashed car, the blood on her arm, the way she whispered, "You again," before passing out. Dae-hoon, his assistant, finally arrived, breathless. Sir, are you all right? No, Minsuk said quietly. Find out what caused that accident. Dae-hoon nodded and stepped aside to make calls. After what felt like hours, the doctor came out. She has a mild concussion and bruises, but no major injuries. She will be fine. Minsuk exhaled slowly. Can I see her? Yes. Just for a moment. He walked into the room and found Tola sleeping peacefully. Her hand rested loosely on the blanket. A faint bandage wrapped her head. He stood beside her, not touching, not speaking, just watching her breathe. Something about her made his chest tighten. Something he didn't want to name yet. He stayed until she stirred. "Sir," she whispered. "You're safe," he said. "Rest." She blinked, confused. "You didn't have to come." "I did." Their eyes met for a second too long. She quickly looked away, embarrassed. He cleared his throat. "You will take a few days off." "But work." "I'll handle it." She nodded slowly. A soft knock came at the door. Dae-hoon stepped inside. "Sir, we found something." Minsuk's expression hardened. "Go on." Dae-hoon hesitated before speaking in a low tone. "The accident wasn't random. The black car belongs to one of the subcontractors from the construction project. And," he swallowed, "the driver received money from someone inside our company." Tola sat up weakly. "Someone tried to harm me?" Minsuk's jaw tightened. "Yes." "Why?" she whispered. "Because you work on sensitive documents," Dae-hoon explained. "Someone wants you out of the way." Tola's heart dropped. "But I'm just an assistant." Minsuk corrected her firmly. "You are not just anything. Someone sees you as a threat." He turned to Dae-hoon. "Who paid him?" "We're still tracing the transaction," Dae-hoon said. "But the money came from an internal account." Tola felt chills run down her spine. "Sir, I don't bother anyone. Why would anyone want to do this?" Minsuk looked at her, studying the fear in her eyes. "Someone wants to stop you because of the project you're working on. I'll find out who." A moment later, Dae-hoon's phone vibrated. He checked it and looked up sharply. "Sir, we have a name." "Who?" Minsuk demanded. Dae-hoon glanced at Tola with pity. "Team leader Hygiene." Tola's mouth parted in disbelief. "Hygiene? She's always been cold, but why would she?" Minsuk interrupted. "Because she wanted your position. She wanted access to those files. You were getting in her way." Tola felt her stomach twist. He continued. "I already suspended her. HR will finalize it tomorrow." Tola held the blanket tightly. "Sir, if I'm causing trouble, maybe I should step down from that project." "No," Minsuk said sharply. "You will not hide. You did nothing wrong." She lowered her eyes. "But someone targeted me. And I will make sure it never happens again." His voice was low, controlled, but dangerous. For the first time, Tola realized something. Kang Min-seok wasn't just protecting his employee. He was protecting her. And whoever tried to harm her was about to face a storm they weren't prepared for. Tola returned home from the hospital the next morning with Nina by her side. Her head throbbed slightly, but the bigger pain came from knowing someone inside the company wanted her gone. She couldn't stop replaying Minsuk's words. "You will not hide. I'll make sure it never happens again." Those sentences comforted her more than she wanted to admit. Nina helped her lie down on the couch. "Tola, you need to rest. Forget work for 2 days." "As if work will forget me," Tola muttered. Her phone buzzed. A message from Kang Min-seok. "Rest. Don't think about the project. I'm monitoring everything." Tola stared at the screen. "Nina, he texted me." Nina screamed into a pillow. "This man is falling in love." "Please. He is just being responsible," Tola said weakly. "Responsible?" "Tola, CEOs don't enter ambulances for employees." Tola covered her face. "Don't start." After 2 days of rest, she returned to the office. The moment she stepped in, whispers followed her. "That's her. She survived the car crash. CEO Kang visited her personally. Look at her forehead bandage. Poor girl." Tola wished she could shrink into a grain of rice. She hurried to her desk, but before she could sit, someone blocked her path. Vera, with folded arms and an angry smirk. "Tola," she said, dragging her name. "Look at you. You've suddenly become popular." "I'm not in the mood, Vera," Tola said. Of course you're not. You've been busy using accident drama to attract attention. Tola stared. How can you say that? You think I don't know your plan? Vera hissed. You're trying to get close to Kang Min-seok. Pretending to be innocent. Acting like he cares about you. Tola blinked in disbelief. I didn't pretend anything. I almost died. Convenient. Vera rolled her eyes. Now he's defending you like you're special. Nina stepped forward. Vera, leave her alone. But Vera wasn't done. When my pendant lie failed, you stole the spotlight with an accident. Smart move. Tola's voice cracked. I didn't cause the accident. Someone targeted me. Vera leaned closer. And who would target you? You're nobody. Those words stung more than the bruises on Tola's body. Before she could reply, a voice cut into the tension. Is there a problem? Everyone froze. Kang Min-seok stood behind them. Vera straightened instantly. Oh, Minsuk, we were just talking about something that does not concern you, he said coldly. Vera swallowed. I was checking on her. You were harassing her, Minsuk corrected. The office went pin-drop silent. He stepped beside Tola, his presence firm. If you speak to her like that again, you will be banned from this floor. Vera looked like she'd been slapped. But leave, he said sharply. Vera turned slowly and walked away, furious and humiliated. Nina whispered, justice served. Tola stood frozen, cheeks warm. Sir, thank you. Minsuk looked at her head bandage, his expression softening. Are you sure you're ready to work? Yes, sir. I'm fine. He studied her for a moment longer. Report to my office later. I want to review your safety arrangements. Her stomach flipped. Yes, sir. As he walked away, Nina grabbed Tola's arm tightly. Tola, she whispered, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. This man is attached. But Tola was too overwhelmed to respond. All she knew was that the workplace wasn't calmer now. If anything, Vera's anger was about to get worse. And Minsuk's protectiveness was only beginning. Tola sat quietly in Kang Min-seok's office, trying to control her nerves. He had called her in to review her safety, but the atmosphere felt far more personal than professional. Minsuk placed a cup of warm tea in front of her. Drink this. Sir, you really don't have to. You were almost killed, Tola, he said gently. Allow me to worry. Her heart did a slow turn. She took the cup. He watched her for a moment. I'll assign a driver to you until we find who caused the accident. That's too much. It's necessary. I won't argue with you. The firmness in his tone made her chest tighten. She nodded quietly. Minsuk returned to his seat, but he didn't immediately open his laptop. He simply observed her. Tola, he said, if anyone in this company bothers you again, including Vera, you come straight to me. Understand? Yes, sir. She stood to leave, anything to escape the intensity of his gaze, but the moment she reached the door, she felt dizzy. Her stomach twisted sharply. Tola. Minsuk moved instantly. She covered her mouth, rushing to the small trash bin near the bookshelf. She threw up. Minsuk froze. Tola, are you sick? I think it's something I ate, she whispered, wiping her mouth. His eyes narrowed. This is the second time you've suddenly felt ill. It's nothing serious, she insisted, standing too quickly. The room spun again. Minsuk caught her arm, steadying her. Sit, he said softly but firmly. She obeyed. Tell me the truth, he said, kneeling slightly so they were eye level. Are you unwell? Did the accident affect you? Tola stared at her hands. Silence stretched. She couldn't keep hiding it forever. But she wasn't ready to tell him the truth either. Not when the truth connected her to him. In a way she didn't know how to handle. She took a shaky breath. I'll be fine. He studied her face carefully. Too carefully. Tola, are you pregnant? Her heart stopped. She jerked her eyes up. What? No, sir. Why would you say that? You've been nauseous, dizzy, easily tired. He paused. And you disappear sometimes like you're hiding something. Her pulse raced. I'm not pregnant. Please don't say things like that. Minsuk watched her closely, something troubled in his expression. If you were, would you tell me? Tola froze. His tone wasn't angry, not even shocked. It was emotional, concerned. Sir, please don't ask me that. He didn't reply. He just looked at her like he was trying to read every part of her soul. A knock broke the moment. Thank you so much for staying with us till this very point of the story. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and comment part 2 below. As the story just got interesting, we'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can continue improving to give you the very best. Until next time, we are Moonlit Stories, bringing you amazing tales under the moonlight. Stay blessed.